Hey everyone, I'm Rachel, I have hamsters, and today I'm going to show you a 100 quart bin cage setup that I recently did for my dwarf hamster, Laverne. So I'm going to start by showing you how I made some multi-chamber hides. One of them I will use in Laverne's enclosure, and then the other ones I actually donated to a local animal shelter who had a large intake recently of lots of hamsters, so I figured they could use these. This box I get a monthly wine shipment from Bright Cellar Wines, and it comes with the wine is packed in this box. So I get like several every month. So they actually make really great hamster boxes. It's just a little bit of work to cut the cardboard because it's quite thick, but it is also very sturdy, so it works really well. I do make sure to cut out those little circles because I don't want my hamsters to get stuck. They like to try to go through those holes, and it always freaks me out. So the next step is you want to get some dowels. I bought some from Amazon. I think I bought 8-inch long dowels, and they're 1/4 inch wide. You can also get 6-inch. I think it depends on your enclosure, what is a better height for you. And when you use hot glue, you want to check and make sure that it is non-toxic. It's usually printed on the back in very small writing. There it is. So just check and make sure before you use it. And that way, if your hamster somehow does get in contact with the hot glue and decides to ingest it, they hopefully won't be too badly injured by that. And you want to let those dry, and then once they're dry, they are pretty much ready to go. And I like to put these little nail file pieces on there. They're sticky. I'll leave a link to them down below if you're interested. I find my hamsters have trouble grabbing onto this cardboard, like it's kind of slippery. And so I just put these there. Even if the bedding is high, it's just kind of slippery. So these help them get a little bit better grip, especially my hamsters that are getting on the older side. I want to make sure that they can access their water and their food easily. So I just get those on there. I don't want to cover the whole surface, just the edges. It's kind of akin to having rocks in your enclosure. It just gives a gentle nail filing once in a while. And this is the finished product. I actually feel super happy with it. For a 100 quart bin cage, I feel like it has a lot going on, and that's really why I wanted to share it with you guys. Normally I wouldn't recommend putting your hamster in a 100 quart bin cage. I think they're fairly small. I would much prefer a 200 quart bin cage or bigger. 200 quart bin cages are a lot taller, and they're also much larger in floor space. But realistically, I know not everyone has access to 200 quart bins at every time in your life. Maybe you can't afford the bin right now, but you want to do an upgrade in the future. I really believe in incremental change, so any change you can make to improve your hamster's life at whatever budget or space confines you have. That's why I really wanted to show this, because I think you can do a lot with a little sometimes, and sometimes you need to. Sometimes you might be in a situation like I am where I really needed to do a deep clean of Laverne's current 200 quart bin cage, and so I needed to put her in something else in the meantime and get her set up. So this was all that I had. I don't have another 200 quart bin cage to transfer her to. So I wanted to, make something she would enjoy still, and that was functional for her as an aging hamster who has some health concerns, but is still active and still enjoys exploring and burrowing and doing all the normal hamster things that most hamsters like doing. So this is little Laverne, and as you can see, she has an abscess going on her ear. If you haven't watched my other videos, I've done a bunch of videos about it, but she has had that going on for a couple months, and she's had surgery and is on medication for it, of course. But yeah, because of that, I have to keep her really clean. I don't want to have the bacteria growing more than it already is, and she also urinates more than normal, so I have to clean her bedding a lot more than my other hamsters. In addition, she eats a lot of soft foods, so the soft foods are very messy. So there's like a triple threat of reasons why I have to work extra hard to keep her living space clean. But she's also just so fun and cute. So all the work I put into her, I just get back with getting to know her really well and how spunky and fun she is. So when you set up a 100 quart bin cage, if you're trying to create something that's a little more intricate like this, you want to focus on creating pathways for your hamster. So think about how they're going to get to different levels. You can see hamsters, she's going to find the pathways here, and I'm going to help her find them. You know, hamsters are not super great climbers. They're fairly clumsy. Well, more dwarf hamsters than anything. They're not great at climbing, so you do want to make sure things are accessible, especially if they're older hamsters and you want them, but any hamster really, you want to make sure that they can access their water and their food and their wheel and everything that they need without risk of injury. So you can see I added that cork round there, and the purpose of the cork round is she can get up to her multi-chamber and also to the sand bath. And then she also has this little sand bath with a coconut hide on top, and the reason for that is because she can climb on top of the coconut hide, as she's about to show you, and then she can get up into her sand bath there. Wow, isn't she great? She's really great at following fingers, I have to say. She might be our best hamster at following fingers. And then that, of course, is just a box. I cut 2 holes in it, and then one side is totally open, so she can go through it and then out the top or the side. So that gives her another pathway to go. And if you are a new hamster or your owner or you're on a budget, clean boxes are a great hamster hide, and they're usually free, or they should be free. They come with other things though, of course. So that box, I don't know what it came with exactly. I think maybe a pair of headphones, but you want to use the interior box layer, not the exterior. So don't put anything that's been outside in your hamster's cage, because that stuff is dirty, and sometimes it's like sprayed with chemicals to keep bugs away. So you don't want to use that kind of cardboard, but clean cardboard is great. You can do a lot with it with just a box cutter and a little bit of bedding inside. Oh, see, she's trying to figure out, well, how do I get up there? So now I'm trying to teach her some pathways. And once she learns these, as long as you leave things as they are, she's pretty good at doing it now. So it just takes like a few times, and then she knows she's got the layout. I did end up removing that log Laverne is on right now. I just felt like it was too much going on, and it was kind of blocking some pathways for her, so I didn't like that. Maybe I'll find another way to incorporate it into her living situation in the future, but not for now. Yeah, she's got lots going on. If you are interested in using naturalistic items in your hamster cage, like the cork round you see here on the bottom right, or the coconut hide, I did do a video about them, and I will put a link to it probably here and down below. The one thing I would recommend that you do is freeze these items before you use them in your hamster's cage. You can also bake them at 200 degrees. I usually bake at a lower temperature and just longer, just in case, just to make sure I'm not, I don't really want to put wood in the oven and have it catch fire or something. But that should kill most anything that's living on there. I have heard a lot of reports about people getting bug infestations from these cork rounds, some tiny beetles or something like that. So you really want to avoid that, because if that happens, you have to just like chuck everything, and it's awful. And I've been through that. I actually had bugs in my food once. This was years and years ago when I had gerbils, but the bugs in the food went to all the food in my cupboard, and it was just the worst experience ever. So don't go through that. Just make sure you bake and freeze for 48 hours, or bake for, I don't know, like a half hour at 20 or 200 degrees. And that should protect you from most things. I'm sure every bug has its own, heat thresholds, but that should do something for you. The other thing I want to point out is what Laverne is under right now. What is holding up the sand bath is one of those Niteangel peep, I think it's like a peep, I don't know, something. It's like a multi-chamber peep house or something. You can put it up against the side so you can see in. I find my dwarf hamsters don't use it when I do that, because they're very aware of being seen. So I just used it in the back there, and that way it can support the sand bath and give her an extra level, which is great. They do well for that. And here she is running on her preview quiet wheel. This is size large, 9.5 inches. I also did a video about this one a couple months ago. It's not that quiet, but it is a functional wheel, and I like the way it looks. So Laverne seems to like it just fine and does well on it. The bedding Laverne is currently digging through is a combination of Small Pet Select paper bedding and hemp bedding. I usually use the hemp bedding in areas that are not really quite for burrowing or tunnel making, so I try to use it on this side of the cage, and the paper bedding more where she's going to make burrows, because the hemp bedding, you can see it's just heavy, so it doesn't really hold a burrow the same way that the paper bedding will. So I know I've been saying this a lot recently, but if you are looking to adopt a hamster, there are so many hamsters in need at your local animal shelter. There's small animal rescues throughout the country. You can check Pet Finder to find an animal. Maybe it's not in your city, but maybe a city over. And that's how I got Laverne, and look at how fun and spunky she is. I'm so glad that I have her, and it's been such a joy. So I hope that I can inspire some other people to take on a little animal that is looking for a home, because there are just so many. And on that note, I will leave you. Please leave me a comment below if you have any questions or feedback. I'd love to hear from all of you, and I hope you enjoyed today's video, and I hope to see you in my next one. All right, bye.